I wrote this article recently about, this is called the Z30. It's a video focused camera from Nikon, however you want to pronounce it. If it were written in katakana in Japanese, it would be Nikko. So 3 syllables. Anyways, that is a Z30. Kind of cool camera. The problem is that 2 other cameras that I have for video stuff that I've been doing are very, very similar to it that I got quite a while back. The M6 Mark II. The problem is this system, the EFM system from Canon, is basically dead. Canon decided not to continue with it. They haven't said they're done, but the writing is on the wall at this point. So there's no future in buying that equipment. There's not going to be any new cameras. There's not going to be any new features, most likely. New things that could help a creator do their thing. But I still have those 2 cameras. They work fine for the most part. I don't know what I'm going to do, but money is always a problem, and they work. So I'm not going to change anything at the moment. Basically, this camera here has a pretty similar feature set. It's video focused. There are some little things that could be an improvement, but it's just not enough to fully switch to this, even though I could have a full Nikon system. The negative, even with this camera, is that this uses a different battery than this camera. So I'm not getting a benefit with the same battery. That's even the little thing. If you might think that's a little point and it doesn't matter, but it does matter in many situations. Being able to have one single battery for all your cameras is a super nice, very nice benefit from a efficiency, productivity, space, chargers, everything. It is very nice to have the same battery. So that's kind of an odd yet important difference between this and that camera, because they put the smaller, cheaper battery in this camera because it's camera companies love doing stuff like that. They got to save $1 or $2, kind of make it a little bit smaller, which it doesn't need to be smaller in that situation. So instead of benefiting the consumer, benefiting the user by giving them the same battery, the battery that's larger could run the camera for a longer time, they opted to use the smaller battery. Believe me, it makes a difference. And camera companies need to consider these things, because especially with this specific camera system, this mount is very, very large, even in comparison to other ones, which has its benefits. So if they were to compete on size, it just doesn't make sense in many respects, because you can't shrink the size of this circle here. The circumference of their mount is never going to change because that's how big it is. And so making the grip a little bit smaller or something isn't good. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So I made a list of changes I would like to see in an improved version of this camera with the same general idea of a video focus camera in that system. And kind of what spearheaded this article is this specific lens. It's a 12 to 28 millimeter that they recently announced. It looks pretty nice. It's basically like a replacement, could be a replacement for this lens that I have right now that I use quite a bit for my hands-on videos. Yeah, so that's kind of what got me to spend the time to write this. And hopefully, I don't know if the camera companies bother to look at my stuff, but if they do, hopefully they take something from it and potentially shift their future products in that direction. Because at least to me, it makes sense. Might not be. I mean, the thing is, everyone's different. Everyone wants different stuff. It's challenging for these companies to work with so many ideas and so many considerations. But I feel like something such as the battery is such a key, simple thing to have a very consistent. You got one battery for most of your cameras. The thing is, very high end cameras require very large batteries. So in the case of, I think it's the Z9. Let me see. Yeah. So in the case of their very large camera, it's totally understandable to have a very large battery in it. But that's a special case. So with this camera, they have a Z8 now, which uses the EL15, which is the battery I mentioned here. Z5 has a battery, and I wish the Z30 had that battery. So if they make a Z30 Mark II, put the flipping same battery in it, please. Another thing this specific company I think really needs to get on board with is being able to record video to the two memory cards in the camera at the same time. Now, this specific camera only has one memory card slot. The M6 Mark II that I have only has one memory card slot. They do that. It's fine for those types of cameras, those types of price points. But if I were to consider going straight Nikon for video and photo, I would want dual card slots, dual SD card slots specifically. I don't want the super high end memory card types that are expensive to deal with. I think SD is fine for this. But I don't think any Nikon cameras currently allow you to record video to both cards at the same time. The benefit of being able to record video to both cards at the same time is clearly having an instant backup. Memory cards, now there's going to be people saying, oh no, it's never happened to me. I've never had a memory card go bad. Sure, you just haven't used cameras enough. You haven't. Anyways, having an instant backup in the camera is good. I think they should do that, have dual card slots. Yeah. And then I also mentioned encoding. So there's different types of ways to encode videos. More recent, better, more efficient, higher quality, even codecs are coming out there. They're being an option for cameras. But many cameras that I've seen haven't done this in a way that I would hope they would do it. For example, the one way to encode a video is it's called H.265. One of the negatives is that it has usually a licensing fee associated with it, so there is some inherent cost. The same thing with H.264, which is very common. Maybe this one's a little more expensive, which might be one of the reasons why they don't use it as much, or it's just newer, so it takes time to show up in cameras. Anyways, this Z30 does not have H.265 encoding capabilities. There's even something called AV1. There's other options that could be better than H.264. File sizes for videos, especially 4K, 6K, get huge. It depends on your bit rate. It depends on your color information in the photo, in the video, I mean. So I have this thing called the Atmos Ninja 5. It takes HDMI input and you can record to it. I use that for most of my indoor videos. So my main camera has this thing attached to it, and I opted to buy encoder for that device that does H.265. It allows me to do this like relatively low ish quality 4K 8-bit 420. That's chroma sampling or whatever, it's color sampling data in H.265, and I get pretty efficient, decent ish. In my opinion, the video files look decent enough to use. So that's what I've been doing with this recorder attached to one of those M6 Mark II Canon cameras. So any hands-on video I do where I'm reviewing a product or something, I use that setup. And it works. It's nice. It's efficient. I can more easily save my projects. And I've been trying to save all of my video projects because there have been situations where I need to change something, adjust something for a different platform. For example, Amazon, they have their own video platform now for inside the website. When you're an influencer, quote unquote, you have an affiliate account with them. You take the next step, and then you're able to upload videos to Amazon. And when someone views your video, buys that product or a similar product, you potentially get a sale, affiliate revenue from that. And that's kind of one of my main focuses right now. So I use this setup to make those product videos. Wish I should be editing those videos right now, but I'm talking about it. Anyways, having efficient encoding is good, in my opinion. And not all camera companies give you efficient options. They might give you H.264 in a lower bit rate, a lower thing, but it's not as efficient as H.265. So it's just a weird compromise thing that the camera companies do. So I talk about what I would hope to see in encoders for the camera.